all the new. Well, I looked into it and I'm glad that I did because one.
And I'm glad that I did. I looked into it and I'm glad that I did.
Belly fat so stubborn.
Me wondering why it's belly fat so
In the first place. Well, I looked into it and I'm
I looked into it.
glad that I did.
I'm glad that I did.
Once you understand this,
Because once you understand,
all the new research makes a lot more sense.
Because once you understand this, all the new research makes a lot more sense.
You see, to burn fat, your body first needs to release it from the fat cell, a process known as mobilization. Once you've mobilized the fat, it can then be burned off for energy. But how exactly do you go about mobilizing it? Fat, it can then be burned off for it. You see, to burn, once you understand this, all the new research makes a lot more sense. You see, to burn fat, your body, this, all the new research makes a lot more sense.
Because once you know this, all the new research makes a lot more sense.
You see, to burn fat, your body first needs to release it from the fat cell.
Fat cell. Your body first needs to release it from the fat cell.
Process known as mobilization.
Process known as mobilization.
Once you've mobilized the fat, it can then be burned off for energy.
Once you mobilize
energy. But how exactly should? Once you've mobilized the fat, it can then be burned off for energy.
From the energy.
But as mobilization. Once you've mobilized the fat.
Mobilization. Once you mobilize the fat,
it can then be burned off for energy.
And then it can then be burned off for energy. It can then be burned off the energy. It can then be burned off for energy.
But how exactly do you go about mobilizing it? What?
But how exactly do you go about mobilizing
it? It can then be burned off for energy. But how exactly do you go about mobilizing it?
How exactly do you go about mobilizing it?
Well, when you strength train, you don't just strengthen your muscles, you also increase blood flow to the fat that surrounds the muscle you're working. And this is one theory why belly fat can be so hard to get rid of. You don't just, how exactly do you go about mobilizing it? Well, when you strength train, you don't just strengthen your muscles, you also increase blood flow to the fat that surrounds the muscle you're working. And this is exactly do you go about mobilizing it? Well, when you strength train, you don't just strengthen your muscle.
You don't just strengthen your muscle.
You also increase blood flow to the.
You also increase blood flow.
The fat that surrounds them.
Blood flow to the fat that surrounds
muscle you're working.
The muscle you're working.
And this is one theory why increase blood flow to the. When you strength train, you don't just strengthen your muscles.
You don't just strengthen your muscle.
You also increase blood flow to the.
You also increase blood flow.
Fat that surrounds the
fat
muscle
you're working. Surround the muscle you're working.
This is one theory why belly fat.
And this is one theory why belly fat
can be so hard to get rid of.
Can be so hard to get rid of.
You're working. And this is one theory why belly fat can be so hard to get rid of.
Why belly fat can be so hard to get rid of.
How's the muscle you're working? And this is one theory why belly fat can be so hard to get rid of. Compared to fat in other areas of your body, it tends to receive very little blood flow. compared to the fat in other. And this is one theory why belly fat can be so hard to get rid of. Compared to the fat in other
compared to fat
areas of your body, it
in other areas of your body,
tends to receive very little blood flow.
It tends to receive very little blood flow. It tends to receive very little blood flow.
Not to mention, we also
we
tend to train our abs less
also tend to train after
frequently than other muscles.
Tend to train our abs less frequently than other muscles.
Think about it. Your quads and hamstrings are used all the time. Running, squatting, walking, you name it. They're some of the largest muscles. We also tend to train our abs less frequently than other muscles. Think about it. Your quads and hamstrings are used all the time. Running, squatting, walking, you name it. Your quads and hamstrings are used all the time. Frequently than other muscles. Think about it. Your quads and hamstrings are used.
Your quads, hamstrings are used quads. Your quads. Your quads, hamstrings are used
all the time. Running, squatting, walking.
Running, squatting, walking. You can name it.
Some of the largest muscles in your body, and so they receive a large increase in blood flow when you're working out.
When you work out.
Belly, well, not so much.
But your belly, not so much.
So this got researchers thinking.
Working
out, but your belly, well, not so much. So this got researchers thinking.
Bro, this call it research is thinking. So this call research is thinking.
But when you're working out, but your belly, well, not so much. So this got researchers thinking.
So this call research is thinking.
If you can boost blood flow to your abs, could you then specifically target belly fat during exercise? And if you could, abs, not so much. So this got researchers thinking. If you can boost blood flow to your abs, blood flow for fat, could you then specifically target belly fat during exercise? Flow to your abs, not so much. So this got researchers thinking. If you can boost blood flow to your abs,
if you can boost blood flow for your abs, if you can boost blood flow for your abs, to your abs,
could you then specifically target belly fat during exercise?
Target belly fat during exercise. Specifically target belly fat during exercise.
Blood flow to your abs. Could you then specifically target belly fat during exercise? And if you could target your belly, why stop there?
Watch out there.
Specifically target belly fat during exercise. And if you could target your belly,
target your belly, and if you could target your belly,
why stop there?
Why stop there?
Theoretically, by increasing blood flow to the right spots, you could reduce fat in any area that you chose. And if you could target your belly, why stop there? Theoretically, by increasing blood flow to the right spots, you could reduce fat in any area that you chose. Blood flow to the right. If you could target your belly, why stop there? Theoretically, by increasing blood flow to the right spots, you could, why stop there? Theoretically, by increasing blood flow
theoretically, by increase blood flow, by increase blood flow
to the right spots,
to right spot, the right spot,
you could reduce fat
you can reduce
any
fat
area
in
that you
any
chose.
area you choose.
Theoretically, to
Theoretically.
find out, I reached out to my good friend Doctor that you chose.
Theoretically.
To find out, I reached out to my good friend Dr. Bill Campbell, who runs a lab dedicated to fat loss out of the University of South Florida. Theoretically. To find out, I reached out to my good friend Dr. Bill Campbell, who runs a lab dedicated to fat loss out of the University of South Florida. Theoretically. To find out, I reached out to my good friend Dr. Bill Campbell, who runs a lab dedicated to fat loss out of the University of South Florida. Theoretically. To find out, I reached out to my good friend.
I reached out to my grad.
The area that you chose.
Richard.
Theoretically. To find out, I reached out to my good friend.
I reached out to my good friend
Dr. Bill Campbell, who
Dr. Bill Campbell, who
runs a lab dedicated to fat
runs a lab
loss out of
dedicated to fellows
the University of
out of the University of
South Florida.
South Florida.
I've been asked a lot, can you use spot reduce in my
Out of the University of South Florida.
Fellows out of the University of South Florida.
I've been asked a lot, can you use spot reduce? And my answer has always been no. The research that exists is not very strong, and most of the research that's been done on this can you use spot reduce? And my answer
Out of the University of South Florida.
I've been asked a lot, can you
I've asked a lot.
use spot reduce?
Can you spot right? Can you spot reduce?
And my answer has always
And my answer
been no. The
is no. As always no.
research that exists is not very strong, and
It's not very strong.
most of the research
Most of the research is not very strong, and most of the research
that's been done on this
is meaner than the reason there is.
exists is not very strong, and most of the research that's been done on this
It's meaner than this. It's meaner on this.
has suggested or reported that
It's suggested or reported it.
it's not possible.
Not possible.
After digging through endless research,
Has suggested or reported
This has suggested
that it's
or
not
reported that it's not possible.
after digging through endless research papers, I've come across all sorts of funny and, in some cases, just plain out weird experiments researchers have tried to get to the bottom of this question. What? Digging through endless research.
has suggested or reported that it's not possible.
After digging through endless
This
After
has
digging
suggested or
through,
reported that it's not possible.
after digging through endless
after digging through
research papers, I've come across all sorts of funny and
and a paper, another research paper, I've come across all sorts of
some
fun,
cases
and in some cases,
just plain out weird experiments
just plain real
researchers have tried to get to the bottom of funny
Yeah,
and, in some cases, just plain out weird experiments researchers have tried to get
researchers try to get
to the bottom of this question.
to bottom this question. Researchers have tried to get to the bottom of this question.
One study had participants do over 5,000 sit-ups in 27 days. One study had participants
One study have put
do over 5,000 sit-ups in 27 days.
5,000 pointed 70 minutes a day.
Which one study had participants experiments researchers have tried to get to the bottom of this question. One study had participants do over
One study have a participant. One study had participant
over 5,000 sit-ups in
for 5,000
27 days.
in 27 days.
Which honestly might be more than the rest of us have done. 5,000 sit-ups in 27
So
days.
in in 2017.
One study had participants do over 5,000 sit-ups in 27 days,
In 27 days.
which honestly might be more than the rest of us have done in our
Oh, which actually might be more than the rest of us
entire lives.
entire life, done in our entire life.
Another one had participants do 12 weeks of high-intensity leg pressing on one leg, all to answer the question, can you choose where you burn fat?
Can you choose or to answer the question?
Another one had participants do 12 more than the rest of us have done
Which also might be more than the rest of us
in our entire lives.
entire life.
Another one had participants do 12
Another one participant to 12 weeks
weeks of high-intensity leg pressing
of high intensity leg press
on one leg,
on one leg,
all to answer the question,
or to answer the question, or to answer the question, or to answer the question.
can you choose where you burn fat?
Then you choose very fat. Can you choose where you very fat? Very fat.
But neither study found a notable difference in fat loss. Can you choose where you burn fat?
That's the question. Can you? Or leg or to answer the question. Can you choose where you are fat?
But neither study found a notable difference in fat loss.
Neither study found a notable difference in fat loss.
You choose where you burn fat. But neither study found a notable difference in fat loss.
Neither study found a notable difference in
You
fat loss.
choose where you burn fat. But neither study found a notable difference in fat loss.
Neither study found a notable difference in fat.
And because of this, most researchers, including Bill, were skeptical about the idea of spot reduction. Most researchers, including Bill,
because of this most researchers, including Bill,
were skeptical about the idea of spot reduction. Most researchers, including Bill, were skeptical about
skeptical.
the idea of spot reduction.
About the idea of spot reduction.
People would, let's say, do hundreds and hundreds of crunches.
Reduction.
People would, let's say, do hundreds and hundreds of crunches.
Let's say do hundred of crunches.
And they would say, well, now I'm going to have a defined
And they will say, well, now I'm gonna have a
midsection of crunches. And they would say, well, now I'm going to have a defined
now I'm gonna have a fine
midsection.
midsection.
And my response would be, well, that's not really how it works. A defined midsection. And my response would be, well, that's not really how it works.
But it's not real how it works.
However, as it turns out, there was one thing that pretty much all of these studies overlook. Remember how I said you need to mobilize fat? One thing that pretty much all of these studies overlook. Remember how I said you need to mobilize fat before it can be burned off? Well, there's two parts to this process. I said you need to There was one thing that pretty much all of these studies overlook.
There's one thing that pretty much all of this study overlook.
Remember how I said you need to mobilize?
Remember how do you sit to mobilize? Remember how he said you need to mobilize
Fat before it can be burned off? What these studies overlook. Remember how I said you need to mobilize fat before it can be burned off. Well,
Mobile, but before it can be burned off.
there's two parts to. Remember how I said you need to mobilize fat
Mobilize fat
before it can be burned off?
before
Well,
it can be burned off.
there's two parts to this process.
But well, there's two parts to this process. There's two parts to this
You
process.
need to mobilize fat before it can be burned off. Well, there's two parts to this process.
There's two parts to this process.
First, mobilizing it, and then burn it all.
First mobilize and then burn it off. Burn it off. Mobilize. And mobilize it. Burning up. Mobilize.
The issue with the past studies, such as the 5,000 sit-ups one, is that while they may have mobilized belly fat, such as the 5,000 sit-ups, then burn it at all. The issue with the past studies,
The age
such as the 5,000 sit-ups one,
this one 5,000 sit-ups one.
is that while they may have mobilized belly fat, such as the 5,000, and then burn it at all. The issue with the past studies, such as the 5,000 sit-ups one, is that while they may have mobilized belly fat, this doesn't necessarily mobilizing it and then burn it at all. The issue with the past studies,
The age use pathway. The issue with the pathway. The issue with the pathway,
such as the 5,000 sit-ups one,
such as the 5,000 sit-ups one,
is that while they may have mobilized belly
is that while they may have mobilized belly
this
fat.
mobilizing it and then burn it at all. The issue with the past studies,
The issue with the pathway,
such as the 5,000
such as
sit-ups
5,000
one, is
sit-ups one,
that while they may have mobilized belly fat,
belly fat, or they may have mobilized belly fat,
doesn't necessarily lead to burn it at all.
Burning it off. Doesn't necessarily lead to burning it off.
But this is where a 2023 study comes in.
This is where 20, 23, 30.
To the picture.
It's a picture.
They wanted to test a routine that could do both.
They wanted to test a routine that could be to do both.
Yeah, so the results did surprise me. Just relying on my past knowledge, my thoughts were I don't expect any type of spot reduction outcome to be reported, but that's exactly what was reported, and the design was good.
Basically, researchers divided 16 overweight men into two groups.
60 or
The design was good.
Basically, researchers divided 16
researchers divided 60
overweight men into
16 overweight man.
The design was good.
Basically, researchers divided 16
Researchers divided
overweight men into two groups.
overweight men into two groups.
One focused on spot reduction and the other the control group.
One the other control.
Overweight men into two groups. One focused on spot reduction.
One focus spot reduction. Spot reduction. Spot reduction. Power reduction.
And the other the control group.
Control group.
Both followed a 4-day workout plan for 10 weeks. The
Group both followed 4-day workout plan for a week. The
control group did 45 minutes on the treadmill each session. Workout plan for
4-day workout plan
10 weeks.
10 weeks.
The control group did 45 minutes on the treadmill each session.
Treadmill each session. 45 minutes on the treadmill each session.
Meanwhile, the spot reduction group had a shorter 27-minute treadmill workout followed by 2 ab exercises. Group had a shorter 45 minutes on the treadmill each session.
Treadmill.
Meanwhile, the spot reduction group had a short.
Meanwhile, the spiral group reduction. The spiral reduction group. Meanwhile, the spiral reduction group.
Shorter 27-minute
27-minute
treadmill workout followed by 2 ab exercises. Torso rotations and machine crunches.
Course orientations and machine crunches.
Now, this study was unique because it was
This study was neat.
also the first of its kind to make sure that the same amount of calories were burned in both workout groups.
This is a big problem with a lot of prior research. If you don't equate the calories being
And if you don't equate the calorie
burned, you don't have much faith in whatever body
doesn't have much faith in
fat outcomes are being reported, because it could be that they just burn more calories, and of course they're going to lose more fat.
So, what happened? Well, after the 10 weeks, both groups lost a relatively similar amount of total body fat. But what was surprising was that the spot reduction group lost 2.5 times more fat from around their belly compared to the control group. What's also interesting is that the treadmill-only group also lost more fat from their legs than the spot reduction group. And if the spot reduction theory holds true, well then this result makes sense, since they did more running. But of course, this study doesn't come without its limitations.
One of the criticisms of the study was, well, they had more fat to start with, which they did, but they still lost like 3% more total fat in the trunk area. It's like 7% versus 4%. So even when you account for the fact that this spot reduction group had more fat to start with, they still lost significantly more fat, even accounting for baseline levels.
And although the workouts were tightly controlled, the nutrition wasn't. Personally, I don't think this is too big of a concern, given that both groups lost a relatively similar amount of overall fat, but it is something that would have made the study a lot stronger. A similar amount of overall fat, but it is something that would have made the study a lot stronger. But hey, it's not just this study. Other recent studies in spot reduction have also shown promising results. In 2017, there was a similar.
In 2017, there was similar.
Researchers had one group perform an upper body workout, then followed up with 30 minutes of cardio. And another
Then follow up 30 minutes of cardio.
The group did a lower body workout followed by the same 30 minutes of cardio. Now,
30 minutes of
cardio. And another group did a lower body workout followed by the same 30 minutes of cardio. Now, both groups performed the same number of exercises, sets, and reps, and they did this 3 times per week. After 12 weeks, both groups lost a near identical amount of total body fat. But again, what was interesting was that the upper body group lost more fat in their upper body, and the lower body workout group lost more fat in their lower body. And more recently, in 2021, another study found something similar. Just like the 2023 study,
just like the 2023 study,
idea was to use abs exercises to mobilize belly fat, and then combine it with cardio to burn that fat as fuel. And they too found promising results, mainly in the upper belly area. Again, the studies do have their limitations. All studies do. But this research is still exciting to see, and I'm sure a lot more will be done in this area. And what's nice is that the results of these studies still offer some practical Takeaways which you can immediately start using in your workouts. Before I get to them though, let me say this. If losing belly fat is your goal, then you need to be in a calorie deficit to get the best results.
You need to be in calorie deficit to get the best results.
It's highly unlikely you're going to be able to
Likely.
gain weight while still in a deficit to get the best results. It's highly unlikely you're going to be able to
You're gonna be
gain weight while simultaneously
gonna be able to
spot
you with
the best results. It's highly unlikely you're going to be able to gain weight while simultaneously
gain weight
spot reducing fat in your belly. What the studies do suggest though is that if you're doing ab work, you should probably combine it with some form of cardio either shortly before or after to get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah. There's that. It has to be of such an intensity and or duration that it actually causes an increase in what we call oxidation, where you're actually burning the fat. As an example, you couldn't perform these studies and go for a 3-minute walk and come back and think, oh, I should have spot reduction.
The other thing is that if spot reduction does work, then it seems like some abs exercises are better than others.
I don't see planks as targeting the abdominal region, the abdominal muscles, as much as crunches and abdominal torso rotation. I would suggest, and again, being a scientist, rely on the data that we have. Both use crunches, and one use crunches and abdominal torso rotation. So I would think, yes, the abdominal exercise does matter.
So if I was designing a routine to better target belly fat, I'd use direct weighted abs exercises combined with low to moderate intensity cardio, which could look something like this.
Something like this. Which calls something like this.
I'll be honest though, I'm still not 100% convinced, and neither was Bill when I spoke to him. These latest studies have definitely opened my mind to spot reduction being possible, and it seems like future research could be promising. But it's definitely not enough for me to go about planning spot reduction into most people's routines. That said, on my recovery days, I have been using those 2 abs exercises and slapping on some cardio either before or after. Maybe this is giving me the spot reduction effect, maybe it's not. But even if it's not, I still highly recommend that you regularly train your abs, and with weight. Once I started training them consistently, they seemed to appear more visible even during bulks where my body fat was increasing. But after all, they're just like any other muscle group, and growing them can help with definition. But guys, just remember that most of your results will still come from the basics, and losing belly fat heavily depends on your diet. In fact, most people completely underestimate just how many calories are in their usual food choices. And this is why even people who eat clean and work hard still struggle to shed their belly fat. To help with this, I worked with our lead dietitian Kelly to show you how you can eat twice as much food while keeping the calories the same.
Mobilization and burning. And then I read a book, the Dr. Dolittle. I like this time because the Dr. Dolittle is very exciting for me. Yesterday. Okay. I read a book for 20 minutes, so and then I have to go to bed to sleep. So I always reading a book. Just every day I read a book one chapter, but today maybe I can read two chapter. The 14th chapter, the Red Warning. Dragging a ship through the sea is hard work, and after 2 or 3 hours, the swallows begin to get tired in the wind and short of breath. Then they sent a message on the doctor to say that they would have to take a rest soon, and that they would pull the boat over to an island not far off and hide it in a deep bay till they have got breath enough to go on. And presently the doctor saw the island they had spoken of. It had a very beautiful high green mountain in the middle of it. When the ship had sailed safely into the bay, where it could not be seen from the open sea, the doctor said he would get off onto the island to look for water because there was none left to drink on his ship. And he told all the animals to get out to a room on the grass to stretch their legs. Now, as they were getting off, the doctor noticed that a whole lot of rats were coming up from downstairs and leaving the ship as well. He started to run after them because chasing rats had always been his favorite game, but the doctor told him to stop. And one big black rat, 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 who seemed to want to say something to the doctor, now crept forward timidly on the rail, watching the dog out of the corner of his eyes. And after he had caught nerves 2 or 3 times, and cleaned his whisker and wiped his mouth, he said, you know, of course, that all sheep have rats in them, doctor, do not? And the doctor said, yes. And you have heard that rats always leave a sinking ship? Yes, said the doctor. So I've been told. People say the rat always speak of it with a sneer, as though it is something disgraceful, but you can't blame us, can you? After all, who stayed on the sinking ship? Get off it. You have heard that rats always leave a sinking ship? Heard that rats always leave a sinking ship? It's very natural, said the doctor. Very natural. I quite understand. Was there anything else you wish to say? Yes, that's all right. I've come to tell you that we are leaving this one, but we wanted to warn you before we go. This is the best ship you have here. We didn't say the sides aren't strong enough. Its boards are rotten. For tomorrow night it will sink to the bottom of the sea. But how do you know? Asked the doctor. always know answer correct. The tips of our tails get the tingly feeling like when your foot asleep. This morning at 6 o'clock, while I was getting breakfast, my tail suddenly began to tingle. At first, I thought it was my soon come back, so I went and I asked my aunt how she felt. You remember her? The long, piebald rat, rather skinny, who came to see you in Puddle Valley last spring with Jodius. And she said her tail was tingling like everything. Then we knew for sure that this boat was going to sink in less than 2 days, and we all made up our mind to leave it as soon as we got near enough to land. It's a bad ship, Doctor. Don't sail in it anymore, or you will be surely drowned. Goodbye. We are now going to look for a good place to live on this island. Goodbye, said the doctor, and thank you very much for coming to tell me. Very considerate of you, Barry. Give my regard to your aunt. I remember her perfectly. Read that read Alonsia. Come here, lie down. So then the doctor and all his animals went off, carrying pails and saucy pans to look for water on the island while the soul took their rest. I wonder what's the name of this island? I wonder what is the name of island, said the doctor. As he was climbing up the mountainside, it seemed a pleasant place to water a lot of birds there are. Why, these are the Canary Islands, said the doctor. Did you hear the canary sing? The doctor stopped and listened. Why, to be sure, of course. He said, how stupid of me. I wonder if they can tell us where to find water. And presently the canaries, who had heard all about Dr. Dolittle from bar or passage, came and led him to beautiful spring of cool, clear water where the canaries used to take their bath. And they showed him lovely meadows where the birds sea grew and all the other sights of their island. And the pushing me fully was glad that they had come, because he liked the green grass so much better than the dried apples he had been eating on the ship, and got squeaked for joy when he found the whole valley full of valley sugar cane. A little later, when they had all had plenty to eat and drink, and were lying on their backs while the canaries sang for them, tears of sorrow came hurrying up Barry, flustered and excited. Doctor, they cried, the pirates have come into the bay, and they've all got onto your ship. They are downstairs looking for things to steal. They have left their own ship with nobody on it. If you hurry and come down the shore, you can get on to their ship, which is very fast and escape. But you will have to hurry. That's a good idea. The doctor. Splendid. And he called his animal together at once, said goodbye to the canaries, and went down to the beach. When they reached the shore, They saw the pirate ship with the 3 red sails standing in the water, and just as the swallow had said, there was nobody on it. All the pirates were downstairs in the doctor's ship looking for things to scare. So John Dolittle told his animal to walk very softly, and they all crept onto the pirate ship. Of course, because that all ships have rats in them. Do you not? And the doctor said yes. And you have heard a rat or a living sinking ship? Yes, said the doctor, so I've been told. People said right. Always speak of it senior as though it was something disgraceful. People always speak of it with a sneer, as though it was something disgraceful. But you can't blame us, can you? You can't blame us after all who if he could get off it. Splendid. Canario. The 5th chapter, The Barbary Dragon. I read it tomorrow, okay.